Welcome to our world-renowned podcast, Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray. I'm a TEDx and keynote speaker and author. Also, I'm executive producer of the movie Show Her the Money. Plus, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. Our weekly show features interviews with powerhouse women founders, funders, and change makers that are sure to inspire you. Let's go. Welcome to this week's edition of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. And as most of you know, executive producer of Show Her the Money, which is our movie about venture capital, how underfunded women are, but how we're going to change that. And while I was on my global tour, I met our next incredible guest, who is the founder of Global Woman Club. And you're going to find out all about that and her multimedia empire that she has built up. Please welcome to the show, Mirela Sula. Hi, Mirela. How are you?
Hi, Catherine. Thank you. I'm great. And you're looking great too. And thank you for having me.
You bet. I'm excited to have you, honored to have you. And you're coming to us from London today. I have to say, I never know where you are because you are with Global Woman Club in over 30 cities around the world, right?
Yes, well, you're right. We have been in a Holocauster in the last 10 years, over a decade now. We have been living in the airplane, me and my team, and many of our members who took themselves into a global journey. It was like a great experiment and a great adventure. And I've seen you doing the same, Catherine.
And that is how we met. We met, I believe, at a screening in
Yeah.
London, I think, and then we went together to Dublin and did some other screenings together. And then, of course, you came into LA for our 100
Yes.
city tour finale,
And
right?
New York.
Yes, in New York, of
Yeah.
course, at your events. Let's talk about what Global Woman Club is, because it's such a phenomenal entity that you have built for women all over the world to be able to live out their dreams of starting their own business, becoming speakers, becoming podcast hosts, writing books. You help facilitate that in all of these cities where you have chapters. And before we get into, well, first of all, I want to mention that you do also not only a podcast, but Global Woman Magazine. And we have to talk about that first because I was so honored to be on the cover last year. And then this year, you kicked off the cover of Global Woman Magazine with the one and only Oprah Winfrey. And I am so impressed with that. I have to ask you, how did that happen?
We have been now around for, as I said, over a decade. And once you build a brand and you build some experience and you build some connections and relationships, then you find the way. It has been in my vision board. Oprah is a role model for all of us. And I put it in the vision board like I want to start next year when I did that last year. I want to start with opera, and hopefully at some point we'll have opera even to our events or summits. Women, every time we do a poll or a survey, who are the top speakers you want to have at our summits? Opera is always the best of the best, and sometimes you have to continue manifesting and not quitting because the fact that um, things don't happen immediately doesn't mean that we have to quit. And this is the biggest mistake many times women do. Even when you're looking for funding, how many times you have to be rejected
Right.
until you get to where you have committed to be?
Yeah, and you are one woman that knows all about commitment. And I will say, I was speaking at a conference once, and I said, "Oh, I'm here because Oprah wasn't available."
I love that. I love that.
But and I don't even know why I said Oprah Winfrey because all you have to say is Oprah, and everybody knows who you're talking about.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I think it's so great that you have her on the cover of your magazine, and everybody should become a member, subscribe to your magazine, listen to your podcast podcast, and of course, go to your conference. You have just created such a magnificent platform to lift women up. And, but what I want to share with people today is your background because you have the most incredible story of how you came from nothing and you built this incredible platform. And let's talk about where you came from and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, stories are always these parts of the journey that people remember when we speak, when we present ourselves, when we share a piece of our story. It stays, especially with people that resonate with. And I find it really amazing that people remember me for the story. But in the other side, I find myself thinking all the time, I don't think I have a special story because I have met in person over 1 million women. And of course, I haven't been able to sit down with all of them, but I must say, I have sat down with thousands. And when I hear stories of incredible women around the world, honestly, my story is like tiny, very tiny. And I still to date, I have people who really tell me that, wow, we never heard something like this. Your story is incredible. I said, well, you haven't heard the other stories that I have heard. I've started my next, when I say next, is like when I decided to change the direction of my life from being a village woman, being in the middle of nowhere, when I took myself in a journey, it's my next self. Because sometimes I feel like we are in this world, but we live in this world many times. And I feel like I have lived many times. I lived as a child in a very miserable place where not only me, but it was a norm to be abused and not to be heard and not to have a voice. And it was just the way it was. And
And you
then
grew up in Romania, right?
Albania.
Albania. Okay.
Yes,
Close.
Albania is a very small, tiny little country. Is a beautiful country. It's very small, 2 million population, the whole country. And I was born and raised in a very tiny corner of north part of Albania. And it was hard. It was hard, but it was not hard just for me. I think the fact that it was hard has really impacted the way who I have become today. And somehow I realized sooner than later that I have to make sure I don't allow myself to be in the victim zone. No matter what I had been going through, I should be grateful that I'm alive. I should be grateful that I have been able to strengthen my mental muscles and build resilience and move on and go and meet these other women and tell them that no matter what you have been going through, you should be grateful. That what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I
So,
love that Kelly Clarkson song. It's one of my favorite. What
yes,
doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's
true.
so true. But your resilience is something that is inspires everybody. And you did come from a really tough background and came to Europe and started really with nothing and built this. I think you built what you wanted. Am I right? That
Yeah,
that
you
support system that you wish you had.
So true. Honestly, Catherine, that's so true because many times um, I felt lonely. I felt not belonging. I felt, of course, discriminated, but I felt like it's okay for people to discriminate me. It's okay for people to reject me. I should earn my place because people have always been like that. And when I moved to London from Albania, and I keep hearing, oh, there is so much racism and so much discrimination. I said, not really. You should come to Albania and be from the north and go to the capital city and tell you, go back home in my
Yeah.
country. I have been told that many times because from the moment that you move from the mountains, you're not welcome to the city. Go back, village people, animals. This is what we were called. So it's in the human nature that people um, uh, complain when they are not welcome, and I'm not saying is right, but the message that I want to convey: if you're not welcome somewhere, don't complain. Go and create it. It's very easy to complain why people are not fair, why is not justice. Go and create justice into your tiny little corner. I come from the mother of country of Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was from Albania, and she used to say, if you cannot help the whole world, start with one.
Yes, that's so
And
true.
that really helped me because you feel helpless when you have a big mission, a big vision. My mom, I think, injected on me. She was a midwife and she used to go house to house because there was not hospital in these mountains. And she used to sacrifice her life to go and save a woman's life. Like she had to walk hours in the snow and cross really big bridges or something that was dangerous for her life to go to the top because she knew she needed to save that woman's life. She needed to save the baby. And I have
Well,
seen
now I know where you get your resilience from,
she
right?
was she was incredible and the whole village was talking about when I would tell somebody that, oh, I am the daughter of, and I would mention my mom's name. Oh, everybody would know her. Everybody. She was incredible.
Well, that's you now. Yeah.
I think I got a little bit of her on me where I had that spirit. I have that spirit where I stand for something, but in the other side, because I grew up in a very dictatorial regime, somehow I don't have the complaint on me.
Yeah.
So if I see that something is not right, I just go and try to fix it because I know it doesn't help if we just go and complain about it.
You
And
know,
of course,
speaking of what you're talking about, which is, things not being right, you know, and how we need to flip the script. I was at an event last year talking about venture capital, and all the women on the panel were like whining about how venture capital, they're just getting 2%, and how woe is us. And it came to me, and I said, you know what? We are making progress. We are coming into more money than ever in history. We are starting more venture funds than ever in history. We are creating our own venture capital arena. And so we have to stop whining about what was and start focusing on what can be and what we are building. And it takes time, but we can do this. We can restructure venture capital to favor women. And so I love that perspective that you share that if we see something that's broken, rather than whine about it, let's go fix it, right?
like you're doing. What you're doing now is the best of the best examples I could ever share with anyone. And I mention you all the time in my community whenever I have an opportunity, because you're an example of that. First, you are an example that instead of complaining about men, you just go and do something that shows that is changing. And most importantly, what I really, and I really mean it, and not only me, but I hear many women saying, common friends, that you open doors for other women. This is where we should focus. The enemy is within us. The enemy is in us, is not in man. Of course, like old systems created a kind of division inside us because they didn't want us to be united. They didn't want us to work and collaborate together because they knew that if we are united, things are going to change. It was not in the favor of the old system that women support each other. It was
And
not.
thank you for that. And it's what I absolutely love about you, Morella. That's exactly what you do with Global Women Club. You provide that platform for them to connect, and connecting is our superpower. You know that old saying, "Your network is your net worth," right? And it's so true. Let's talk about all the things that you do because there's so many components. I know you. I feel like you're going 24/7. I just told my assistant, Roxanne, I said, I feel as busy as I am, I feel like I'm standing still when I'm talking to Morella because she does so much for so many. I don't even know how you do it. And I know you have a fiance who now is doing the same. For men as far as venture capital and that whole alternative wealth arena. And what a great team you two make.
Yeah, it has. I have been very, finally, I've been lucky because you need to have a little bit of luck as well, Catherine. Yeah, you know that?
You
Um,
do.
I think Napoleon Bonaparte used to say, in order when he was selecting his team, the army of team, and said, well, yes, what we're looking for is not just brave men, but lucky men who can go and win. So also you need to learn how to be lucky as well. It's a mindset because,
Yes.
lots of studies show that if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you can't.
That is so true. That is so true. I think a lot of people have it right there in their doorstep and they put up a block and don't let it in. And it's right there and let it in. And
Yeah.
you let in the love factor, which is great. Um, and let's talk about what did you start with first? Was it building the groups? And then I know you've started to add on, teaching people to speak and doing your magazine and how did you build all those components?
Well, it's a long story because the first real job when I moved to London was working for a charity that was helping women who have suffered domestic violence. And I was running workshops with these women, teaching 6 weeks of sessions because there are 6 stages of domestic abuse. And the week 6, I would divide women in two parts and I would say, what makes a woman leave an abusive relationship and what makes a woman stay so long in that abusive relationship. And at the top, we would cluster all the answers, and the top answers were the same in both groups. Women who leave are the women who build confidence and make some savings and run. And women who stay is because they're broken, lacking self-confidence, and lacking finance. They can't go anywhere. They don't have that support. So when I moved to London, I was going from one seminar to another. I was hungry. I was hungry. I have been hunting for knowledge and validation and skills and expertise and experience, and I never felt enough. I always felt like, who am I to do this? And I need maybe another degree. I did a master's in counseling psychology, another master's in positive psychotherapy, and specialized in family therapy, PhD in psychology, and I still felt like, who am I? I'm not ready. And then what really helped me in London, there were so many opportunities that I never knew existed. And I had one big thing in my mind when I was suffering after I lost my daughter in the village, reading these books of Les Brown and Kiyosaki and Jack Canfield and Robin Sharma. They saved my life. And then one day I felt like, oh my God, these people exist. Where do I find them? So every time that I would see that someone is coming to London, I would stay one week, no bread, no food, if I needed to make sure I get the ticket to go and see Kayasaki's and Robin Sharma's and
Wow.
Les Brown's and all these big icons that they were in my vision in the village under the trees reading their book. One day I see myself sharing the stage with them, dining with them, traveling with them, masterminding with them. And it's unbelievable. We do not need to live hundreds of lives to change the direction of our course. It just happened. And then I hear these people saying, if you really want to bring an impact in the world, you need to identify a problem. And I said, I know the problem. I want to help women. That was a matter of fact. I've seen that. I've seen my mom beaten many times. I've seen all women in every single woman being abused in while I was growing up. And I had this in me. It needs to stop. And then I found where's the problem. I worked 2 years in this charity, and the reason a woman stays in an abusive relationship most of the time is lacking of self-esteem and confidence and lacking finance. And then I hear Kim Kiyosaki saying a man is not a financial plan. And when I read her book, it was crystal clear what I wanted to do. And I asked her, can you please coach me? And one big takeaway I got from her is like every single woman, no matter where they are, when they were asked, what is the biggest fear you have, no matter where they are in their journey, would say, I don't want to go homeless. That was a big revelation. And I connected it with women because women are raised and programmed that they build and it's taken away. They build and it's taken away because no matter what we do, it's taken away. And we have to build something to believe that it's not taken away. Build yours. Build. And if you really are afraid that you lose your status, or you lose your house, or build it yours. A man is not a financial plan. As you said, we don't blame them. We want to work with them. Let's take responsibility and let's focus on how we build confidence and how we build financial freedom. Now, how do we build these two? What I have discovered, and I keep talking all day long, stop stop craving validation. Stop going from one course to another, from one training to another, from one online product to another. Can you just, the very first thing that I learned is when you learn something, pause, ask yourself, when am I going to apply this and where? And immediately when I learned on this journey and I got to know that I have found the problem, I said, I'm going to identify who are the women I want to help. And because I was a psychologist, I had my private practice in Albania for some time. And I realized that when you are working as a psychologist, and especially someone like me, seeing that change or that progress so slow, it just felt, it made me feel so disappointed with myself because I wanted quick results. And this is where this is my personality. Even now, when I work with women, I said, okay, skip, fast track. Are you over 40 yet? Are you over 50? You are over 60. What the hell are you doing? You don't need to learn anymore, darling. Go and take a young lady and teach her what you know. Stop learning. Stop. You just need to build your voice, your confidence, your reputation, your credibility. And honestly, Catherine, you know the reason I really love you. You are such a great example because you are not hiding. And you are not hiding because of you. You're not hiding because you are taking all the other ladies, bringing them back and say, let me give you a stage. Let me put you in the movie. Let me put you in the screen. So you are not only teaching this, you are not doing the old school. You are showing them that if you really want funding, you need. I saw your movie when one of your ladies lost her funding only because she was bubbling and was shaking in her presentation. And then she built the confidence. She learned how to present. She went to the next investor. Guess what? She got it. So, this is what women need to understand. They need to build their confidence. They need to build their name because, unfortunately, we like it or don't like it. If you are not well known in your industry and you don't build trust and relationship and credibility, you're going to stay behind. And this is where women should focus, especially in the next few years. Now, with AI and technology, the only way that we can see women leading is when they start influencing. Because if we're not able to influence, we can't create that positive impact.
And that's what I love about what you're doing. You're helping women to become those leaders and influencers, and they need that support. I always say the old boys club is a real thing. And we need to create something similar where we're helping each other. But I say no one wants to belong to the old girls club. So we have to put a B in front of it and create the bold girls club, right?
I love that.
Which is really
I love
the global women club.
Yes, you have to be bold. You know what I usually say, Catherine, and this is where everybody remembers me. They will never forget if they hear this story. In Albania, we have a very famous expression. I'm telling you, but let me tell the story first. When I launched the very first magazine in the UK, it was called the Migrant Woman magazine. I didn't have the confidence to do the Global Woman at that time. So I called my sister. She was in the same industry as me in Albania, and I said, I need help. I have, and we brainstorming, and we came with the idea, let's do Migrant Woman magazine. That's the only thing I said. I know how to do it, but my English is not good enough. So let's make it Migrant Woman because if I do errors and mistakes and grammars, they're not going to understand. So I started with Migrant Woman, and in 2 weeks, I had the first copy of the magazine in my hand. So I go to the research center where I was doing my PhD, and I say, guys, look at this. And they say, oh, what is this? I said, it's my magazine. I said, but who does this? I said, me. I said, well, but who is the publisher? I said, me. I said, who's the owner? I said, me. I said, what? Why? Why you didn't tell? Why you keep secrets? I said, no, I don't keep secrets. I said, well, you were here 2 weeks ago and you didn't tell us. I said, guys, 2 weeks ago, I had no idea about it. And they said, are you telling us that you did this in 2 weeks? They didn't believe me. I said, guys, let me tell you something. I am Albanian. In Albania, we have an expression that everybody knows. While smart people are thinking about it, stupid people already have done it. I said, so they, because they told me, said, we have been doing the same thing. Why you didn't tell us? We could do it together. And I said, how long have you guys been thinking about this? I said, yeah, we're about 2 years. We're meeting. We had a board meeting last month. And I said, guys, you keep meeting. You're very smart. You're academic. So you, while smart people think about it,
Yeah.
Albanians already have done it. So
I love that. And that's so true. What you're saying, Morella, is that just do it. And I know that's that Nike slogan, but it's so true. Instead of keep thinking about it and that you want to do the book and you want to do the podcast and you want to go to the summit, just do it. And then, like you said, when you do go to a summit, don't just get the information, implement the information. So many people go to conferences, they go all charged up and then they don't take what they learned and implement it. And that really is the key. And you are like the queen of implementation, and that's a great story just to prove that. So you started with creating your group, started growing it to different cities, launched your summit, launched your magazine, podcasts. I know you help people become storytellers, just built out a whole platform. So if someone is out there listening, let's tell them exactly why and how they would join Global Woman Club.
oh, thank you. Thank you so much. As I mentioned, I studied psychology. I love writing. I published my first book, poetry books, when I was 18 in the village because I won a competition, and they sponsored my books. So it was hard for me to decide what do I do. I'm a journalist, also was editor in chief of Psychologist magazine in Albania. I was teaching. I was so, and sometimes women find it very hard because they have money hats, money superpowers, money talents, and they find it difficult to just put their mind what they are going to do. And one thing that I knew, I love people. I loved standing for women, and I love communities. I would build communities since I was a little girl. I would just put people together. And that's why I chose to build a community. When I chose to build a community, it was not a community fashion kind of thing 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. But now I'm telling you, everybody is following the trend. In the next 2 years, there are two things that we have to make sure we really pay attention: personal branding and community. Because with AI, everything can be very easily replaced. You find absolutely everything: information, knowledge, guide, map here, whatever. But people are craving for connections.
Yes.
We we are human beings, and we are meant to connect and create that bond together, to create that association with each other, and to have a sense of belonging, because this is how we create meaning. So if we need to find our tribe, we need to find where is our family, where is our space where we can grow, we can feel elevated, we can feel speed. Especially Global Women Club, for some reasons, because I'm over 50, is attracting women over 50. We have, of course, some women, a small group of women who are in their 30s or 40s, but most of the women, when they come to the club and they tell me, and it's incredible to see women over 70, even 80, they're still running or starting a business. This is incredible. And somehow I said, please, can you allow me to be a little bit Albanian, direct Albanian? So let's go straight to the point. We don't have time to waste. So it's your last shot. What do you want to achieve? You want to create an impact? Yeah. Okay. If you want an impact, build your personal brand. How do you build your personal brand? Speak. Take a microphone. And this is how the whole movement started. If you want to empower a woman, give her a microphone, because the microphone has the power, and the power needs to go in the woman's hand. And when women are in power, this is where the change can come. And this is not a cliche. This is not a myth. This is something that we have to repeat it over and over again. It's something happening. And from the moment that we build that influence and that credibility, that we have the ability to bring change in our lives and in other people's life, this is it's not rocket science. How do we change the world? By changing people. And you don't need to start big. You think big, start small, start changing yourself, start changing one potential client and another one, and one at a time. And this is how Global Woman started. It started in my little office in Liverpool Street in London. with a small group of women. I started it free first. I just wanted to test the water. And that became in 1 year, we launched 14 clubs around the world. And in 3 years, we had 27 clubs in over 20 countries. So only last year, I have traveled 300 days
My
in
gosh.
all over the world because I felt like I have to do this. And it's incredible to see now we live in an era that everything is possible, no excuses. And when I remember myself in the village with no internet, with no books, with no library, with nothing, and that was an excuse. How can you get yourself out of getting stuck? But nowadays, no excuse. We have to go and get the woman back and awaken them up and say, "No, my darling, don't worry. Whatever you're going through, you're not alone. You can do this." And when
So
we come to the club and say, "I have a problem," and say, "You know what, darling? Join the club. We all have problems here."
join the club. So Global Women Club, that's WOAN, Woman, Global Woman Club, they can find online. They can join. I imagine you're still expanding to other cities, so they could even help you start a chapter. Am I right?
Yeah, we are
Yeah.
looking to expand in the countries that we don't have a club. We have women many times asking, "Do you have a club here? Do you have a club there?" But it needs to be. We usually say, "Yes, you can be a leader, but we have to start dating first." And then we get engaged and then we get married. So we have to see how we align with each other, how committed we are, and yeah, it's growing, and that's my goal. And thank you for asking if somebody believes, because number one is, do you believe in the community, in the power of community?
Right.
And
You have to have like-minded people to help
yeah,
build this. And about how many members do you have now?
we have over 30,000 members in our members portal in the app. We have an app. And of course, then there are different tiers of membership.
And
And
but
we
you actually touch millions around the world. Yeah.
I have been very fortunate that apart from traveling around the world with the clubs that we have in like 40 over 40 clubs that we have been launching since we started, I have been speaking on big stages in front of thousands of people. I've been invited. I get invited in many big summits. I'm being able to speak in front of 10,000 people, 5,000 people. And I speak like 200 events, more than 200 events per year. So,
Oh my
and
gosh, that is crazy.
yeah, I love it. It's just
I
like
know you do.
is and
And
sometimes I hear women saying, "Oh, but is it too much?" And sometimes I hear them like, "Can you slow down? We can't keep up with you." I mean, when you are having, wearing your mission, and when you are having, following your life purpose, and you are so happy, I mean, why do you want to slow down? Do
right.
people
It
tell you
somebody
that?
yeah, I remember last year somebody said, "How did you do 50 cities?" And I said, "Oh, like the reception of the film in every city just fuels me." And
Yes.
when you're doing what you're meant to be doing, it does. It fuels your soul, right? Um, so how would they get a hold of you? What is your website? Anybody can download the app?
Yes, everybody can go to Global Women Lobby or Global Women Lounge because we launched a new app now. We have an app for Tier 1 and an app for members only. So we have now an opportunity for those who want to also access something for free before they get to know us. We have just launched a few days ago. I'm very excited. We're just still testing and retesting as a new app. And there they can have everything, the online courses, the academy, all included, because what we want you to do is like once you become a member, you don't need to go everywhere. You find everything in one place. And just my name, Mirela Sula, and Global Women Club, just to Google it, it's very easy to find everywhere.
Okay, great. And what is the website?
globalwomanclub.com
.com. Okay,
and
great.
globalwomanmagazine.com.
Perfect. And you can go see the Oprah issue there, right?
Yes.
Yes. So for those of you just listening and not watching, it is Mirela, Mirela, and then her last name is Sula, Sula. And of course, it is Global Woman Club. You can find it anywhere and everywhere. She's amazing. You're going to want to check out this community if you feel like you need support, you want to launch your business, grow your business, write that book, become a speaker. It's all in that community. Bravo for what you're putting together. I'm a big fan of yours. And everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. You can also find us. You can find our movie at showherthemoneymovie.com and book that for your group anywhere in the world. We'll also be launching on streaming on Apple TV and Amazon starting March of this year, Women's History Month. And yeah, you can find also our website that has a lot of resources called sheangelinvestors.com. You can find Morella or me, Catherine Gray, on LinkedIn. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you for taking the time to tune in. And Morella, thanks for being an amazing guest.
Thank you so much, Catherine.
That
Great pleasure.
you are so welcome. Make it a great week, everybody.